Player First Games has released the patch notes for the MultiVersus Open Beta. The MultiVersus Open Beta is beginning today in early access, allowing players to go hands-on with the new platform fighter from Player First Games and WB. Coming off the closed alpha, a slew of changes and additions have been made to the game, as outlined in a newly released batch of patch notes. Let's take a look at the patch notes for MultiVersus Open Beta V0. Patch notes for the MultiVersus Open Beta. Source: Player First Games. These are the full patch notes for MultiVersus Open Beta V0, as shared by developer Player First Games. New stuff. Iron Giant has arrived. He is our very first Colossal-sized character. Steven Universe, Ancient Sky Arena map is now available to play! 1 to 4 player local play is now available. GlobalWall Fatigue. After spending 5 seconds wall sliding without touching the ground or starting to wall slide 6 times without touching the ground, you start to wall slide progressively faster. After spending 10 seconds wall sliding without touching the ground or starting to wall slide 11 times without touching the ground, you suffer wall fatigue. Wall fatigue effects. Wall sliding no longer resets your air specials and air evades. You no longer get a double jump after wall jumping. For every 0.5 seconds of wall sliding or every time you touch a wall, you lose dodge meter. Fire debuff. Damage now decays over time. Abilities that use ammo are now divided into 2 cooldowns, 1 cooldown to use the ability and 1 cooldown to refund ammo. Ability cooldown modifiers affect both cooldowns equally. A glossary of MultiVersus terms has been added to the main menu. Added 2 new advanced tutorials covering Knockback Influence KBI, and elemental interactions. DodgeInvincibility frames are removed when cancelling a dodge into an attack unless the dodge successfully dodges an attack. Dodge jump movement increase slowed by 5%. PerksSignature PerksArya, removed. WoundedArya, new. BetrayalHitting. An ally with Arya's dagger has a longer cooldown, but the ally is given an enraged buff.